Hello, young friends. Greetings and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Group Captain A.K. Srivastava. Young friends, हम में से बहुतों को लाइफ में अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है कि हम कोई ना कोई ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम अटेंड करें। क्या आपने सीरियसली इस बात पर गौर किया है कि किसी भी ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम का आखिरी मकसद क्या होता है? व्हाट इज द अल्टीमेट एम ऑफ द ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम? Any training program, it could be academic or it could be, like in our context, the SSB training program. Have you ever paid any serious thought about what should be the ultimate aim of that? Well, the answer of this question is a little academic. किसी भी कोर्स ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शंस के पीछे एक ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है, एक एम होता है, और वो एम है, young friends, to bring desirable changes in the thoughts, attitudes, information, knowledge, values, and perspective of the pupils. और इसके पीछे भी क्या कारण है? ताकि उनके बिहेवियर में चेंज हो सके। To bring the change in the behavior by change in the information, knowledge, values, etc. is the ultimate aim of any course of instructions. And this is done through removing the misconceptions or the undesirable or the obstructive patterns of thoughts and beliefs. And yes, when there is a lack of information, then the information or knowledge is also supplied. But let's not forget the fact that the ultimate aim is to bring the desirable changes. Changes in behavior, changes in the response pattern, or sometimes modification in the personality. Young friends, I'm very conscious of this as instructor in the psych technique of SSB. I also desire the same thing. I also aim to achieve the same thing, that is to induce certain changes in you. But when I'm going through your dossiers, evaluating and interacting with you, then I find that your mind is preloaded with lots of thoughts that are absolutely undesirable. Some of the thoughts with which most of my pupils' mind is afflicted, should I say. It may be a hard word, doesn't matter. The pupils, they have gathered certain thoughts and beliefs which are just obstructive, and they are the factors which are coming between you and your success. पहली बात, what should be the approach? So most of you feel that there are certain tricks, there are certain hacks. Using those tricks and hacks, you can create a perception about your merit. Young friends, please remember that it is the merit that will be leading you to success rather than the perception of the merit. तो इसलिए अगर आप में से कुछ लोग ये सोचते हैं कि किसी भी तरीके से सिलेक्शन सिस्टम को बीट कर लेंगे, तो आई एम सॉरी, दिस अल्टीमेटली विल प्रूव टू बी merely a misconception. इसके अलावा, how to do well in the SSB test, particularly in the psych techniques, this also is afflicted by a number of non-professional beliefs. For example, in the blank story, many people or most of the people or most of the instructors also they advise them to go with the pre-prepared story. I fail to understand when the psychologist says that you have to imagine a situation then and there, then how you think you can impress the psychologist by a pre-prepared story? And there are many intangible beliefs. कुछ ऐसी चीजें हैं जो सुनने में तो अच्छी लगती हैं, इंप्रेसिव लगती हैं, but it is just not possible to bring them into the thoughts and the actions that could be well communicated. For example, your SD, your self description must match with the PIQ. Arey bhai, PIQ has got its own features, its own landmark information in the developmental history, and it has got certainly some of its limitations as well. In my course of instructions, जब मैं cover करता हूँ PIQ, तो I cover the limitations of PIQ, and it is not consciously possible to relate your PIQ with your self description. एक और बात, particularly about the TAT. TAT is the strongest and the most potent test to bring out the personality. But I get quite, surprised, and sometimes I feel, very sad that certain beliefs about TAT have been floated in the environment by those people who really do not understand TAT. One of such beliefs is that the stories, they must be on certain, objectives or aims, which are, or for that matter, the hero should be engaged in very simple, ordinary, fun, and such like tasks. Please remember that the armed forces are looking for your abilities to handle the difficulties. In one of my videos on this very channel, I have very emphatically brought out the fact that the hero has to be a fighter. The personality of a fighter must be reflected by the, successful completion of the task of reasonable level of difficulty. And then when you give the hero task like, organizing a football match, a party, and such like things, then absolutely your personality of a fighter remains obscured and unexpressed. Last about a couple of weeks, when I was going through your, the dossiers and interacting with you and trying to exchange views, then I found yet another belief about the SRT has, I don't know who has initiated, but many of you, they are now convinced that SRT, the number of responses must be lesser so that you could, add richness to your response. It doesn't convince me, frankly speaking, and I find it rather, funny. When the psychologist says that try to attempt as many responses or all responses, remember, there's a difference in the situation reaction test and situation management test. Young friends, not only these are just a few examples. And I find that when the pupil come to me, their mind is preloaded with such misconceptions. So in my course of instructions, I basically try to correct these misconceptions or such thoughts or beliefs which are obstructing, which are coming in the way of your success. And at the end of the first course of July, when I got the feedback, which I'll be in any case sharing with you, one of the pupils has said, of course, in a lighter vein, that, sir, I felt at the end of the course that my mind has been sent into a workshop. मैंने कहा, हाँ, workshop? बोले, yes, sir. This course of instruction is like a workshop where my distorted concepts and dented confidence has been repaired. Well, the analogy may be, you know, looking a little funny, but yes, definitely I feel that in my course of instructions, I am supplying lesser information and applying more corrections. Well, friends, so at this point in time, the course is coming formally to end. I'm sure that the contents which you have undergone during these 14 hours must have changed your perspective, your knowledge, your information, something about the SSBs and something about the psychological technique. Do me a favor, give your comparison. How did you find this course? What was your previously acquired or the concept you had? And how did you find yourself as a person with a new, the concepts or information? And be very clear and critical in your mind if you have been actually benefited or you feel that the course contents could be, improved further. Should I start with Shreyans first? Because on my screen, I can see Shreyans, and your sequence will be Shreyans, Utkarsh, Shamak, and Mehtab. You are absolutely a fresher. I'll come to you in the last, but however, you must listen to the versions of these people also, because that will perhaps benefit you. Yes, Shreyans, today.
Sure, sir. So I thoroughly enjoyed the course. Also, the environment we had in the classes, like it was very good, and we all of us could express ourselves fully. And also, sir, what I observed was the information earlier was available in bits and pieces, but after doing this course, it has been combined at one place. And also, I learned a lot of new things
So you
about
mean, just a minute,
that.
you mean that you had the ideas and the things which was available in the class, but in a scattered way,
Right, sir.
and now you find that these scattered things, they have been given a complete and a meaningful picture.
Right, sir. Like,
Okay.
sir, after giving my SSPs, when I used to consult people who are senior to me who have cleared this, I used to get one or two pointers from them. Like, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. But after going through this course, I am able to get that complete picture.
Right, right. Okay, nice. Thank you. I think let's hear something from Utkarsh. He might like to add, correct, or you know, give his own perspective. Yes, Utkarsh, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the opportunity. I would actually mention this point as well, because Shansh already told it. The environment was actually pretty good, and the recent anecdote of that Air Force selection was actually pretty nice to be remembered for a long
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
was one thing. And just speaking about like how things were, I would say definitely say there are things which are there on YouTube. So not to name the sources, but then yeah, there are a lot of videos available for psychology, or like there are a lot of people who are telling about psychology. So those concepts and this concept with logic, I would say, so not without logic, like as you mentioned, without logic things won't work out. So sir, whatever you have told in this course, sir, it was with logic and has actually busted many myths which I had actually. So that conflicts which you actually mentioned, that conflicts of those previous concepts which I had in my mind were actually going on. But then towards the end today, I feel that has been clarified, and that typical picture of, as you mentioned in your videos, that positive and negative things. So that is actually been cleared, because yeah, so that was actually real, because just
Okay.
listening to you that there is nothing positive and negative as such, and then actually realizing that actually there is in reality, there is no positive or
Exactly.
negative.
The world is full of positive, negative, good, bad, ugly, and one has to accept it. And simply that you don't think anything negative, this does not mean that they will be eradicated from this world. Anyway, I would like to here caution you that you told that you could compare your the previous concepts from various other sources. Let me caution all of you. There is a phenomenon in psychology, we call it as a spontaneous recovery. They will reappear, they will pop up again in your minds. That's why I give you about a week's time. Go through these notes, revisit these points, compare it with the logic, reason, and the concepts which I added, and let the dust settle down. So, if there is a comparison of what existed in your mind and what now you have got, and finally there is, some point of reconciliation, I'm cautioning you, and this is again, I'm saying with conviction that the previous things, they will pop up again. Now you have to keep a very strong guard against those tendencies re-entering your mind. Shamak, any opinion about these things or the concept? I mean, you have gone through the course and you were the one of the earliest
Yes,
people,
sir.
So I think you could, and you have moreover, you have got my book also, so you can now give your opinion very
Yes.
shortly, very shortly.
Sir, in concise, I will say there are two major aspects regarding to that. I feel firstly related to the clarity, and second will be the personal confidence. Since I was having many preconceptions about SSB and the testing procedure that I've gone through from various negative sources or demoralizing sources, because of that my confidence was going decreased very low, and it created a very bustling mind for me. And further, that you told about the TAT, SRT, and VATs, it's a test of your merit, not about you, the goody stories,
Exactly.
the connecting of PIQs and the SD connection and thing. So because of that, I can directly show myself, yes, I have the in me, and I got realization about that, and now I know the parameters how to show that. Because of
Anyway,
that, now I can compare
uh,
all my preconception dissolved. Thank you, sir.
Shamak, I think there is some poor connection at your end. In between your voice was cracking and video and audio, they were not matching. Anyway, thank you very much. And I think you are much in a position to compare, being a repeater yourself
Yes,
and
sir.
having gone through the multiple sources. Mehtab, you are absolutely a fresher. Perhaps you are not in a position to relate my instruction with any of your experienced things, but I'm sure that like any other person, uh, even before appearing, wishes for some clarity, visits some sources, interacts with a few people about how to go, what are the preparations to be done. So at least your existing knowledge and your concepts, and I would certainly be very satisfied to know how did you explore about and have faith in my instructions. So in case you could cover a little briefly.
So I'll cover it in a very
Uh,
few.
just, just,
Firstly,
just,
the way
just,
the
just,
structure, the program was structured for me.
okay. I think there is
Yeah.
some poor connectivity at your end. Some poor connectivity at your end. Hello.
Is it better?
Hello. I'll request in case you could, just a minute.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yes, Mehtab, you can continue. In between, there was a break, perhaps. Please continue about your experience.
Yes, sir. So for me, the most wonderful part was that this program, as such, started with the blank canvas. We were never rushed into a prescription that this is what you have to do, this is what you have to write. It was never a prescribed format of what you have to do. We were painted a picture on a blank canvas, and from there we were directed that how actually psychology works. So for me, that's the most wonderful part.
Okay, thank you very much. And
Before,
frankly,
I was scared.
I think there is some connectivity issue again at your end. So we are not hearing your voice completely. There's a break. But anyway, doesn't matter. We could understand that what you want to say in a condensed form is that your mind was fresh and you are not prescribed. You have been given a broader and a clearer picture about the SSB. So friends, thank you really so very much. And in case you are happy and satisfied and you feel that people who are genuinely aspiring for joining the armed forces and they need this knowledge, I request you kindly spread this word. Thank you very much. I enjoyed the company of you people as much as perhaps you found the course and the environment pleasant. Thank you very much. God bless you. Have a nice day. Best wishes. Keep in touch. And whenever you are in need of some clarification, you are most welcome to contact me. But just one request. Just don't drop the message. There are lot many people who keep on inquiring, lot many messages keep on floating in. I might not be in a position to attend to all these or see all the messages, or if I saw that message, perhaps it could be a little too much late from your angle. Let's say you are going for something and you want to have clarification immediately. So do follow your messages by a call. Do follow up with a call. All right. Thank you very much. And very soon, will be once again connecting for your dossier assessment, but that will be the individual sessions. All right. So do write your email ID on the group. Thank you very much. Good night. God bless you. Young friends, I have shared the feedback and the perception of the participants of the first course of July. And before I close today, I'd like to inform that the second course of July will start from 22nd July and it will conclude on the 30th with the exception to, and I would say that the weekends will be free. And please secure your seat by contacting me on these numbers and paying just rupees 500 using the following link. Kindly take the screenshot of this and do approach me in case you feel like joining my course. Thank you very much. Godspeed. Bye-bye.